And a 19B4 is a way that they're going to say what they're going to do and how they're going to meet their requirements, but also what actions they want to take. And the SEC had basically ignored these for the most part. They weren't giving any guidance. They weren't giving any feedback. And then they said, hey, you guys can't stake. You can't, here's the rules. And then they gave like 4 rules or 5 rules for it. You can't send it off platform. You can't stake in another thing. You can't like DeFi. You can't degen on DeFi with other people's money is basically what they were saying.
Right.
Okay? And so the 19B4s were all wrong. You have to refile. So they told him you have to hurry up and refile. And this is exactly what happened with Bitcoin right before they got approved. Was the 19B4s weren't right, and to the SEC's liking, I should say. And so then they went, well, if you change this, okay, well, and if you change this, well, and if you change this. So people had the impression that it was going to be a number of changes in a row, and then there would be this. Well, they basically made one change, and then they turned around and approved.
He got a phone call.
Yes.
He got a phone call.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a phone call or a visit or it was the deep voice from the dark in the bathroom. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, but there's been a significant change in the powers that control the minions, like Gary, changed their tune.
So one of the things they changed is allowing them to stake their ETH. Right.
Correct.
The ETFs can't stake their ETH.
Correct.
ETH. Right. Do you think, I wonder if that was just, he got the call that said, you're going to approve this, and he had to get something out of it. He had to do something to make it look like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's, we're never going to know what goes on behind the scenes unless somebody writes a tell-all book, and then it's going to be their opinion, and you're not going to know for sure, right? Even if they were there in the room, you don't know if they got a spin for it or whatnot. So we're not going to know for sure.
I wonder, what do you think? Do you think that's a legitimate pull from that to take the staking out of it? Or do you think that could be added back in later? How do you feel about that?
Think about how, certainly they could change their 19B4s later. That's legal, right? That's how they operate. They're trying to say how they're going to operate.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, here, I'm an investor and I don't know a lot about this stuff, but I want exposure.
Right.
And I want to go and I want to hold this ETH, but I want to make sure that I hold it. So I'm gonna have a custodian that I trust because I trust him with my stocks, whatever. That's fine. But now, are they gonna go gamble with the money?
Right.
That's where I think this fell short. Is because if you stake, a lot of times that means you've got to do something like put it in a liquidity pool or lock it into a miner or something like this. Okay, but if you're in miners and you have problems, you can be slashed. That's a loss to the people who are entrusting you with their ETH.
Right.
If you're in a DeFi pool, your pool could get corrupted and you could get your money stolen. Right? It's possible. It's not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible. And so I think it's fair for them to say, if you're going to act as a custodian, then you get to act as the custodian, but you don't get to use the money like the banks use the money. That's saved for us. Right? Because the banks are the ones that have to have a certain 10% in liquidity to be able to handle day-to-day operations, but they turn around and they loan that money out for mortgages, invest in the stock market, bonds, whatever, to make more money off of your money, by the way, right? I think that's something they didn't want. They don't want it to be like the banking system. It's stocks. I'm a custodian.
Right.
Hold
the asset.
Protect my asset.
But if Coinbase is the custodian holding it for the ETFs, I wonder if Coinbase could be staking it behind the scenes.
Well,
making that, isn't about 6% of what people are making on staking?
Yeah. So I don't know if it would be legal for them to do that.
Legal? Who cares? You don't think they could billions of dollars at 6%? Someone wants it.
I think somebody wants it, and I think there's a way to do it where it doesn't leave. But if you're exposed and you lose, then you lose really big.
You mean you get caught?
You lose. What if you lose?
What's 6% of billions of dollars compared to the small fine that you might get levied on?
What if you lose it because you're investing in funds and the funds get stolen?
Okay, different question. Good point.
This is the point, okay? And think about it from the SEC side. If I'm an investor and I want to hold ETH, but I don't want to have a wallet, that's fine. But that means you're my custodian, not my gambler.
Right. You're supposed to hold it for me.
If I want to stake the ETH,
yeah,
I'll take it. I'll learn about a wallet. I'll stick it in a wallet. I'll stake it. I'll make the money. Why do you need to make the money when you're just supposed to hold it for me? I think that's the perspective, right? It's, yeah, you can hold the money, but you can't do it. Like, I don't believe that as the custodian of my Tesla shares that you can go and take them to the casino.
Right, and gamble on it and make some.
And say, hey, you know what? I want to use these as collateral. Give me some chips. I'm going to go to the craps table and win some money here. I don't think you can do that.
Right.
And essentially, that's what it looks like to the SEC because they're not deep in the understanding of how the protocols work. But it's also a risk, and that part they do understand.
Well, there is a risk to staking.
There absolutely
is. You can lose your stake. That you can. There's reason. It doesn't have to be fraud either. There can be a mistake made. Like,
well, okay. So if you want to be a validator on ETH,
right,
you cost 32 ETH stake minimum. So you stake 32 ETH, which is like $100,000 at this point, more than $100,000, and you have a hardware problem. Even if you're located on some server farm, they have an earthquake in their zone and they go down.
Right,
and you're down, and they pull you, and you're down. They slash you. You lose 1/3.